Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. Welcome back, everybody. Today, my guest is pedagogue and Piano Safari co-author Katherine Fisher. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs list is The Nightingale. Welcome, Katherine. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
This is a truly lovely piece. It is very singing. It has patterns in it which are easily recognizable by a student. It fits beautifully under our hands. And I want to start by asking you about something that I noticed on the front cover. You have a co-author in this work. So for those of us who don't know, who is Isaiah Fisher?
So Isaiah Fisher is my son, and he started piano with Piano Safari, and he quickly progressed. But one of his strengths is improvising and composing. We actually published some of his pieces, including The Nightingale that we wrote together. So he provided the inspiration for this theme when he was only 8. I think that's when the piece was written, when he was 8.
Wow.
And what happened was I heard him improvising what is the main theme of the A section. And he was playing it in the key of D flat. So he was using all black keys. So it sounded like. And so I heard him improvising this. I was like, that is beautiful. And that's a wonderful idea. And we should write a piece based on that theme.
It is indeed a beautiful piece. And how cool and how wonderful that somebody who is so young had such a great and beautiful idea, and that you recognized that brilliant idea, and now we all get to benefit from it and we all get to play this piece. Very, very cool. In the B section of this piece, we have some intervals in the left hand while we have some moving eighth notes in the right hand. Talk to us about some strategies that you give students in terms of balancing their hands out in this section. Yes,
right. So this middle section is representative of the Nightingale's singing. So if you read the haiku, it is spring comes with warm breath, white winter loosens his grasp, a nightingale sings. So the theme I just played you from the A section is more representative of that warm breath of spring. And so then when we get to the B section that you're asking me about, this is the nightingale singing. So to work on hand balance, I like to use the strategy of playing one hand silently and playing the other hand louder than normal. So I think this is my theme for our interview, that we're exaggerating things in order to make them easier. So the middle section, just ghosting that left hand and playing the right hand out. But definitely too, just practicing the right hand alone to get the proper sweep of the scale and the correct shape before we add in those left hand intervals. Sometimes I might even play the left-hand intervals as a duet with the student while they play that right-hand scale with a beautiful phrase shape.
Those are awesome techniques and great strategies for us teaching this piece. What were challenges that you faced as you were composing The Nightingale with Isaiah?
Well, he originally wrote that theme in the key of D flat, right? So it was all in the black keys, but I wanted to use this piece in Piano Safari level 3, which is very oriented around key signatures and learning major and relative minors, and D flat major would factor in later, usually in a student's study. Although it feels easy to play in that key, theoretically speaking, it was easier to transpose this to C major. So that's one thing that I had to work with him on. I had to assure him that it was going to be okay to play this in C and still sound like his theme. And basically, I took his theme and then I just filled in the middle section with the Nightingale scales that I just played you, and then just rounded it out by bringing back his theme so it was in an ABA form. And I got his approval. That was very important.
That's always important in a good musical partnership. Excellent. What else would you like us to know about the Nightingale?
So because the A section is based on wind, the warm breath of spring is supposed to be the wind. Students should not play the eighth notes in strict time, like of course that's very correct and it might be steady, but it does not sound like the wind, because a wind gust typically will start slower and kind of peak and then ease out. So that's something that I talk about with students, this kind of gentle gust of wind. So you hear that in the sound. Another thing that's very important to me to work with students on in this particular piece is this circular motion that I've been using in the right hand. So you can see my arm aligning behind finger 5 and then rolling off my 4th finger to release. So that actually aids the musical sound that we want with the wind, if you're adding a larger gesture with the smaller notes underneath. If students play this with just finger technique, it's never going to achieve that kind of wind sound that we want. And of course, it's also much more comfortable technically to play the right hand with a gesture. So that's something that I definitely focus on with students in this piece. I even teach that opening passage by rote so they can focus on the technical and the artistic qualities of it rather than taking it from the notation. Of course, as a teacher, you could do that also, but I think the main goal in this piece is to work with students on the expressive qualities to correspond with the haiku.
That is excellent advice. And I just want to point out to everybody that you are not only part of one of the composers of this work, but you also wrote the haiku, which appears at the beginning of this piece. That is just awesome and excellent. My guest today has been pedagogue and Piano Safari co-author Katherine Fisher. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs Festivals list is The Nightingale. You can find it at pianosafari.com. Thank you so much for being here today, Katherine.
Thank you. It's really been a pleasure.